Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of DilSe Stories. We have another very special guest today, Vishal Venkateswaran. Welcome.
Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Do you want to introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Sure. So, in I have kind of two sides to me. I have my academic and like leisure side, and then I have my music side. So I'll start with the music side. I've been playing Kanjira for about 6-7 years now, under the tutelage of Bishi Sundar Kumar, who's known as Kanjira Man, and that's why my name is Kanjira Kid. Before that, I was under the tutelage of a student of the Navy Narayanan School for Mridangam. Did that, and also I am a Western. I play Western piano. As this is here, and I've been playing that for about 12 years now. And now on my other side, I am a student, rising third year at a UC, and I'm studying computer science with a big interest in cybersecurity. And I'm also like a big gamer, and that also influenced my music stuff because I would make a lot of scores for like background scores for games.
All right. And I'm Dr. Parag Bharadwaj. So let's dive right into it. And that is, I didn't realize that you actually played the Mridangam, but what drew you to the Kanjira?
So when Sundar, I call him Sundarana. When Sundarana came to our house one time, he was touring in the California area, and he saw me playing mridangam. And the thing is, so I also played basketball competitively in like AAU and all this stuff. And during that time, I actually injured my legs. Like I hit my knee. Each knee has probably hit the hardwood like 6 times easily. And one time I actually had to go to physical therapy for that. And that changed, and like all of these injuries changed the way that I actually sat. Like my gait, my walk changed. So whenever I sit down with the mridangam, I'm supposed to have like basically both legs flat, or at least one leg flat, and I can't do that. So he saw that and he was like, "Wait, you should try Kanjira." So I tried it, and I actually really liked it. And also the issue of having my legs fully down wasn't the case anymore. So that was like my into Kanjira.
All right. So what's your favorite basketball team?
Favorite basketball team? I don't follow it that closely anymore. I am a diehard Kings fan, regardless on whether they're actually good or not. But I have to stay loyal to my home team.
Got it. So yeah, tell us a little bit about Kanjira because it's fascinating. It seems like a very simple instrument, but when I saw you playing it, I'm like, wait a minute, this is a lot more sophisticated than what meets the eye.
Yeah. It's so the kanjira itself is from like the tambourine family of instruments. It has a bunch of names like ganjira with like a G, and then kanjiri, kanjari. They're all the same. Like they're all the same, or different words for the same instrument. It just has like a jingle on the side. Actually, I have one. I can show you. It's like this. It's the jingles right here. So there's a key difference in the playing style of the kanjira versus the mridangam. So mridangam, there's this solle, or like this note, I would say, that's called kitta, right? So that's 2 ki and ta. So for a mridangam, it looks like this, but for a kanjira, it's the reverse. It's this. So when I was first learning kanjira, I had to switch my entire mindset. And even switching from mridangam to kanjira now, I have a little bit of trouble if I'm just going straight between them. So those like little variations are there. And then the kanjira itself, that one is made of monitor lizard skin. And the wood is jackfruit wood from the jackfruit tree. And since the time that this one was made and a bunch of others, like a very long time ago, because the monitor lizard skin is now, or sorry, the monitor lizard itself is endangered, so can't use that. So now we've moved on to goat skin and also synthetic variations. Like there's a Remo Kanjira that has synthetic skin. You're muted.
Sorry, yeah, I was mute. Yeah, so I'm interested in learning about the jingle because I think, and I could be wrong, maybe it was just the position of, the camera, but I thought I saw some of the Kanjiras where it is actually on the inner side and you really can't see it from the outside. Am I
Oh,
wrong?
I guess no. I think most kanjiras are actually all the ones that I've seen all have it like this. So there's like this part inside and
Okay.
this part outside. Or I said it the inverse way: outside and then
Yeah.
inside. But yeah, I don't think I've seen one where it's not visible on the outside. It's also
Got
possible that when the artist, like kanjira artist, sitting on stage, maybe it's hidden in some way because of just like the angle of where you're viewing it.
Right. Right. So, one of the things that was fascinating to me is the sound modulation, right?
Yeah.
And how while playing it, you apply pressure
Yes.
and it changes the sound of the beat.
Yes.
So tell us about, is there a art to it, a science to it, maybe both? How do you and is it easily replicable?
Yeah. So the sound modulation you're talking about is what many would call gumki. So it's kind of where there's an open sound. I don't know if this is gonna go through over, but there's that sound and it's very resonant. But before, like I can just hold it like this. This is the sound it makes. But then if I hold this, like I'm pressing really hard, you can see it's went up, right? So that is extremely replicable, and especially in the practice and lessons that I was doing with my guru when I first started, it was a big thing that like all the lessons I was learning had this pressure in the like lessons, so I could get a feel and like get it very naturally happening. Because when I play now, I play these like lessons not even thinking about, oh, put pressure here and all this stuff. So that became very second nature. At the beginning, definitely not.
Yeah, because when you look at the keyboard of a piano, right, you are told, okay, you can press this key and this is the sound you'll get.
Yeah.
But here, you don't have that luxury. So if you play the instrument on a certain song or piece of music versus somebody else, it's difficult to say, hey, this is the amount of pressure you got to, apply to get that particular sound,
Yes.
right?
100%.
Yeah. So um, when you practice before performances, with the whole crew, who directs you in terms of what kind of sound are they looking for, or do you just play it, based on what you think is appropriate?
So before concerts, most concerts that is, we don't actually like practice all together. These concerts are typically very improv. That being said, I do typically ask like the melangist for what's he gonna do for the Taniawartanam and stuff like that. And I also ask the singer like what's the song list. But outside of that, we don't really practice all together. And relating back to the like the pitch thing, Mridangam has a pitch. It has a shruti associated with it, which matches the singer. Kanjira does not have that. It's just bass and then the like the tuck sound, like the kita, all that stuff. So it doesn't. I'm never needing to use a specific pitch per se. I can just play whatever I really want to, because that pitch doesn't really influence. It's not done necessarily to meld at a certain pitch with the singer or the mridangam. It's just like that bass sound. It's like the tom sound of a mridangam, like a bass sound.
It's fascinating. So I didn't realize that a lot of the performances are impromptu because they seem very well coordinated.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's great. Now, tell us about the instrument itself. How old is it? What is the origin? Are you aware of any of that?
Yeah. So Mamundia Pillai is the like temple lantern bearer back in like the 1880s, and he wanted to like study this drum and like modified it and made it to what we see that I have there, and it it's I already talked about like the materials that it has, and eventually that grew and grew and grew, and then now we have like the leading Kanjira artists who play it today. So yeah, Mampunia Pillai is that temple lantern bearer that brought it in like the 1880s.
Got it. So let's switch gears a bit.
Sure.
You know, I've watched some of your videos on Instagram, and I was just watching Billie Jean this morning, and you played the Kanjira to it. It's fascinating how you pick up the beat, and it just flows with the music. Uh, and you've been performing on stage as well. So tell
Yep.
us about you know how do you juggle your busy student life with all the performances that you participate in?
So I I usually just I take basically every single opportunity I can. So as an artist that like is trying to get recognition and get more opportunities, you have to put yourself out there. If you don't, then you're never going to get pushed into more and more opportunities. So you're talking about the Billie Jean one. I actually want to give massive credit to my guru for this, because when we were first learning, he has a very atypical way of doing these lessons. So of course I have like the traditional like learn like the like beginning Tati Tomnam of Kanjira. But he also would put on Ilayaraja songs and Michael Jackson songs and some like Bollywood songs, just so I can get a feel for how lots of different music are like how they all coexist in the world. So like some songs will have this like triplet kind of beat to them. I would call it Tisham, right? And lots of like Tamil songs have that. So he would put on these songs and be like, okay, get this beat, and then we're gonna improvise on this beat. And then like Billie Jean and Michael Jackson, they're all in like 4/4 time. So that's kind of like how we have Aditanam, which is an 8-beat cycle. So having all of those like instances very early on in my learning like journey helped me a lot. And coming back to the original question, where we talk about how I'm balancing all this, I'm a very quick. I would like to think that I'm a very quick worker in my work and all that stuff. So I have a little bit of free time even in college. And with that free time, I like taking these opportunities for playing for basically anyone, and also making the reels that I make for like all these small little songs, like these 1-minute songs.
Fascinating. Yeah, it seems like you've got it all under control. So apart from music and you know you mentioned earlier on gaming, you also have other interests.
Yeah.
So can you share some of those with us?
Sure. So I played basketball for I so long. I think like 12, 13, 14 seasons at the very least, and a lot of that being competitively, especially in like AAU and all this stuff. And I'm also a second degree black belt. I have my first degree black belt over here. This is here, but I couldn't find my second degree one. But I did. That's for Taekwondo. Did that for a very long time. Other than that, like going to the gym, lifting weights, and all that stuff.
Yeah, and what about your interest in photography,
Oh yeah, big
cars,
interest.
aviation?
Yeah, so I take photos for events like Arangetrams, Bharatanatyam, some commercial events, and then I have a big interest in cars. That's been, I think that's been bubbling up since I was very young, And as of now, I think it's gotten to like an exponential point that I've been like loving cars since I've like was very very young. And then aviation, I also play a lot of flight sims and fly on that. Off screen, I have my joystick and throttle set up.
That's amazing. So, what's your dream car?
Dream car is a tough question. Um, as of late, I'm a big Porsche guy. So probably a Taycan GT or Turbo GT or a Porsche GT3 RS.
Awesome. Well, when you get it, please make sure to come back and we'll interview you about it. Right?
Sure.
So, music-wise, where do you see yourself going? I mean, is this because you have a lot of interest and you balance them very well, right?
Yeah.
So, are you planning to perform more? Can you shed some light?
Yeah. So I'm thinking probably gonna perform a lot more, play for a lot more songs. It's a dream of mine to like participate in like movie songs and stuff like that, where my playing is kind of enhanced or not enhanced, but like shown in all of these things, and also to become like a teacher as well for Kanjira, because especially in the like US, at least in this area that I'm in, I think there's not a lot of Kanjira players. It's a very not very unknown, I wouldn't say that, but I do want to bring more Kanjira players because there's a lot of Mrilingam players here, and I'd like to see a lot more Kanjira involvement in these concerts and stuff.
Very nice. So, tell us a little bit about your concerts. Where all have you performed? Is it all within the US or beyond the US as well?
I've played a little bit in India and here, mostly in the US, in like the Bay Area, Sacramento area. So those ones I've played for a bunch of people. I have a lot of, I think also I've created a lot of new friends as a result of playing these concerts. Because after you play, you kind of get this chemistry between people, and it kind of draws you back, not only from like the music sense, but also like, hey, I can play with this friend. So that's always a nice little thing. And then, yeah, I've also played a little bit in India.
Great. And tell us a little bit about your relationship with your guru because that seems to be very unique and you seem to appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. So it's very, how do I say this? I want to say it's very casual. Along with obviously being my guru, he wants me to see me succeed and all this stuff. He's also very playful, which is when you see him on stage, he'll be like this intense Kanjira player. Like he's very, very like, focused and all that stuff. But then, like the moment that he's out of that, he's a very playful. Like he makes a lot of jokes and all this stuff. Big into like cricket and stuff like that. So it feels like not only is he my guru, he's also like a close friend, which is, I guess, yeah, it's kind of a unique kind of relationship.
That's great that you both have found each other. Now, is he based where you are, or is he based out of India?
He's based in India.
So he teaches you virtually?
Yeah. So whenever he comes here, we'll have like practice or lesson sessions, you could say, that those go on for 3-4 hours sometimes. Other than that, it'll be all virtually through like Zoom or like a FaceTime or something like that. Or when I go there, I also take a couple lessons there.
All right. So basically you're a percussionist, right? So when you are in class and your teacher is teaching, do you find yourself, tapping a beat?
I think he's the one that's tapping the beat, and then he because like I said before in the like in these practice sessions, how he would just like kind of play songs. He has these beats running in his head, and he like at any given point, he'll like grab a beat and be like, "Ooh, this one's good." So we can like try to improvise on that. So as a result, I think I've also had that happen to me. Like even like when I'm in school, I'll have like some beat going on in my head. Uh, so yeah.
So when you're in class, do the beats make their way into your mind?
Oh yeah. I am often thinking about different beats and stuff like that, like in my head, or maybe like with my pencil or something. I'll be like thinking or like tapping a beat. Uh, Now, is that the best thing I should be doing? I should be probably focusing on the instruction itself, but music for me goes on in my mind 24/7. So it's just kind of always there.
So I'm assuming you're very good at math.
I would like to say so.
Yeah, so I think there's a very interesting phenomenon that I've observed, and I'm sure others have as well. There's a connection between math and music,
Yes, definitely.
and math is very black and white. Music, it's like has to do with emotions, right? So how do you see like where do they overlap?
So there's these things called like chorways and adadis that they're mathematical like they're mathematical patterns that you play that fit within a certain beat. So sometimes they're like really really small. They might be just like I don't know, like four fours or something like that. Or sometimes they're very very elaborate and they're like spanning across like measures. I would say avartanams for Carnatic music, but for like it goes across measures. Some of these and learning about how to because listening to that for the first time, it's very very hard to process. But over time, as you listen to more and more of these, you'll understand the math behind them and why they actually work within the beat or the thottam, not just like, oh, it just worked. You'll soon get to understand like, oh, this specific number here happened to push it so much that it actually got it to the start of the beat and all this stuff. So that stuff is really really interesting to me.
Yeah, I just find it fascinating. So, on that note, I would request the audience to keep connected with your activities, various activities. And is there anything else you want to share about you or in general with our audience?
I think you know pretty much a lot about me by now.
All very impressive. Yeah, so on that note, we will wind up the interview and please do keep us updated about your activities and we look forward to having you back again.
Of course. Thank you for the opportunity again.
All right, namaskar.
Namaskar.